UFC heads back to the land down under on Saturday, February 11th with newly minted lightweight champion, Islam Makhachev, defending his belt against dominant featherweight kingpin, Alexander Volkanovski. Let's take a look at the main card for predictions and analysis. Jimmy Crute vs. Alonzo Menifield. Crute may be entering this bout following a pair of losses, but the 26-year-old Aussie remains one of the division's best prospects. It's a weird situation. One loss came to the current champion, whereas another came in one of those funky moments where his knees shut off from a single low kick. Conversely, Menifield rolls into this fight on a pretty good run. He's won 4 of his last 5 bouts, finishing 3 of those fights before the bell. None of the names on his record are spectacular, but Atomic has a chance to change that in this matchup. Let's take a closer look at the keys to victory for each man. Jimmy Crute record, 12 wins 3 losses. Key wins, Michał Oleksiejczuk, Paul Craig, Sam Alvey, and Modestas Bukauskas. Key losses, Jamal Hill, Anthony Smith, and Misha Cirkunov. Crute is very well-rounded for such a young fighter. He's an adept striker with power in his hands, but Crute really excels on the canvas. He's a strong wrestler with excellent submission skills, making him a real handful in such a striker-heavy division. Menifield is a powerhouse. This is not an opponent who should be approached straight on in regards to either striking or wrestling. If Crute thinks he's going to safely trade with Menifield or easily blast him off his feet with a double leg, he's likely in for a rude awakening. Fortunately, there are ways around pure strength. Namely, Crute could work his distance striking, avoid the pocket, then try to time a takedown perfectly beneath a Menifield swing. Alternatively, he could look to really grind Menifield, exhaust him, then implement his ground game. The latter seems safer to me, as Crute remains a young fighter with still developing defense. If Devin Clark was able to fatigue and wrestle Menifield through consistency, Crute should be able to do the same. Alonzo Menifield record, 13 wins with 3 losses. Key wins, Paul Craig, Misha Cirkunov, Ed Herman, Vinicius Moreira. Key losses, William Knight, Obaint St. Preux, Devin Clark. Menifield doesn't do anything too complicated inside the cage. He's got big power in his right hand and a very serviceable wrestling game, which is enough to climb pretty far up the light heavyweight ladder. He stopped 10 foes via knockout. Menifield wants a firefight here. By and large, he's proven himself rather durable, and he definitely is the greater one-punch knockout threat. Therefore, he wants to encourage one-to-one exchanges, because he's more likely to come out on top. It makes sense for Menifield to press Crute to his back foot. The brute likes to walk opponents down, so flipping the dynamic back on him should be beneficial. It's harder to shoot when being pressured, and Menifield will have more room to avoid the fence if he's the man moving forward. MMA on the go pick is Alonzo Menifield by TKO. Justin Tafa vs. Parker Porter. Justin Tafa aims to win 2 fights in a row for the first time in his UFC career when he faces Parker Porter. After dropping back-to-back outings by decision, Tafa regains some momentum with a first-round TKO win over Harry Hunsucker at UFC Vegas 45, leaving time to tell if the 29-year-old can build off that victory. Meanwhile, Porter looks to bounce back after a submission loss to Jailton Almeida at UFC Vegas 55. The defeat halted Porter's winning streak at 3 fights, leaving time to tell if the Hartford native has what it takes to reverse his fortunes. Unfortunately for Porter, I see his losing streak continuing in Perth. Not only is Tafa a hard hitter, but he has better striking accuracy, 55% than Porter, 49%. Tafa also excels at finishing off his opponents. Each of his 5 victories have come by KO/TKO, and now he gets to face an opponent who's been finished 6 times in his career, including 3 knockout losses. Tafa also has the advantage of being 8 years younger than Porter. On top of that, the former has the home turf advantage on his side. He may have been born in New Zealand, but he resides in Australia, making it clear whose side the crowd will be on. Looking for the biggest win of his MMA career, expect Tafa to emerge victorious. MMA on the go pick is Justin Tafa by KO. Jack Della Maddalena vs. Randy Brown. Jack Maddalena has wasted no time making a name for himself at the UFC level. He has yet to lose any of his 3 bouts and each win has come by knockout. The Australian native will be able to fight in his hometown on Saturday, which should give him an adrenaline boost in front of a rowdy crowd. Brown is a more experienced fighter than Maddalena and enters this bout with a 4-inch height advantage. The veteran is also on a 4-match win streak as 3 of those bouts came down to the scoring of the judges. He'll need to be on the top of his game to take down an improving 26-year-old. Brown is no slouch and has the talent to take this fight into the later rounds. That's where he likely starts to falter though, as each of his last 2 losses, 2018 and 2020, have come via knockout. It'd be surprising to see Maddalena emerge victorious in this one without connecting on a massive punch. This one is going to be closer than the odds make it seem, yet I will still side with Maddalena. He is landing a ridiculous 8.45 significant strikes per minute despite only posting a 50% accuracy rate. Brown's 54% strike defense rate is not going to be enough to withstand Maddalena's onslaught. MMA on the go pick is Jack Della Maddalena by TKO. Yair Rodriguez vs Josh Emmett. This probably my favorite fight of the card. Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett are set to go head-to-head to crown an interim featherweight champion at UFC 284. For Rodriguez, this opportunity comes after a huge TKO win over Brian Ortega in his last bout, giving the former his first win in nearly 3 years at the time. Meanwhile, Emmett has been one of the division's hotter fighters, rattling off 5 straight victories before heading to Australia. He's needed to go the distance to win each of his last 3 outings, most recently defeating Calvin Kattar by split decision at UFC Austin. Although Emmett has more momentum, I'm siding with Rodriguez as the victor. For starters, Rodriguez has the physical advantage, standing 5 inches taller than Emmett while also having a reach that's 1 inch longer. Rodriguez also registers more significant strikes, 4.67, while absorbing fewer, 4.12, per minute compared to Emmett, 4.28 and 4.29, respectively. Having the experience of defeating tougher featherweights in the past, look for Rodriguez to become the new interim title holder. MMA on the go pick is Yair Rodriguez by unanimous decision. Islam Makhachev vs Alexander Volkanovski. The UFC 284 main event features 2 fighters who've been allergic to losing. On one hand, you have Islam Makhachev, who has won 11 straight fights, including a submission win over Charles Oliveira in his last outing, becoming the UFC lightweight champion in the process. On the other hand, Alexander Volkanovski is on a 22-fight winning streak, having not lost in nearly a decade. He's also the current UFC featherweight champion and has 4 successful defenses under his belt, most recently defeating Max Holloway by unanimous decision in July 2022. Although Volkanovski has the striking advantage, 6.79 significant strikes per minute, Makhachev has fantastic can handle the barrage, proven by his 0.95 significant strikes absorbed with a 66% defense rate. The defending champion also has the grappling advantage, meaning Volkanovski will be in serious trouble if he ends up on the mat. With Volkanovski also needing to come up in weight for this fight, his first lightweight bout since 2016, I'm giving the edge to Makhachev. He's already been dominating the lightweight division and has the tools to handle what Volkanovski will throw at him. MMA on the go pick is Islam Makhachev by split decision. Now choose your winners, and let us know your picks in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe so you don't miss our latest videos.